We have a second.
You have a second.
Roll call.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. All right, we have a municipal utilities authority appointment. This is for the term starting February 1st, 2024 to February 1st, 2029.
I'd like to nominate James Radkowski for the appointment.
I'll second it.
A point of order, please.
Can we get just the first and second first,
Sure.
and then there'll be a discussion?
Perfect.
Right,
First.
yeah, we have a first,
Second.
we have a second. So we do a roll call.
Oh,
No.
point of order.
Point of order.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment for some discussion. Number one, I want to confirm that in fact, well, he's been nominated, so that's great. We had two other applicants. Just wanted to make sure that we were taking them into consideration.
Yeah, they were taken into consideration. All right, that's it? All right, roll call.
Ms. Astor?
No.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
No.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. We have ordinance for first reading by title only. There will be no public comments for these particular ordinances. We have ordinance 2024-1, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank.
Make a motion
Get a
to
motion?
approve ordinance 2024-1 on first reading.
We have a first,
I'll second it.
we have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
Abstain.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, ordinance 2024-1 has passed. Ordinance 2024-2, ordinance authorizing execution of the financial agreement between the Township of Mount Holly and Star Urban Renewal LLC, 14 King Street, Block 38, Lot 1, 101 Washington Street, Block 38, Lot 2.
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-2 on first reading.
We have a first,
I'll second.
we have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, ordinance 2024-2 has passed. Okay. All right, no worries, no worries. All right, moving on. Matters to be presented by the public. Members of the public are invited to submit comments during the public comment portion of this meeting. The council pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act will not publicly discuss personnel matters or may choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the council will give all comments appropriate consideration and will refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate representative for resolution. Each citizen will be allotted up to 3 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone an opportunity to express their opinions and or concerns. Now we have a podium here where you guys can express yourselves. I think the mic is already on. So let's start with the first row. Anyone in the first row?
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, go, you can go.
No, you always go first.
Okay. Good evening, my name is Luis Lopez.
Speak to the mic.
Speak a little more into it.
Good evening, my name is Luis Lopez. I live 98 Levis Drive. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I want to first thank for the mayor and Brown and Banks for the nice event and the council member for the Martin Luther King Day. It's amazing. I appreciate it. I learned a lot of new diversity, and I would like to see that again. And the second question is I have a resolution 29, 31, and 34. I would like to clarify more information.
29,
31 is that
Says
what you said?
31?
Yeah, 31 and 34.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I heard you.
All right, 29 is for 30 High Street, the Shoestring Building.
Oh, okay.
That's to finish the remediation of the mold in that particular building. And 31 is a resolution adopting procedures for administration and inspection of federal aid highway projects. I think this is, Josh.
This just formalizes the policy,
Formalizing.
how it'll be following basically the federal policy.
Is a formulation to pretty
We-
much follow
we
the federal
can't hear.
guidelines, correct?
We can't hear whatever Mr. Brown said, we cannot hear
It's a
back.
formulation to follow the federal guidelines for highway projects. 34 is this resolution approving the meeting house, the meeting room for the new firehouse.
And Mr. Mayor, can I ask a definition of a word or like a storm front or mayor? What's the difference of that?
Don't understand your question.
He's asking
What's the
what's
definition of
definition
a
of
storm front or mayor?
He's asking what's the definition of a strong form of mayor versus the type of council he's going to preside in, and that would be for the attorney.
Yeah, Louis, so you wanna know the difference between a weak form and a strong form?
Yeah.
In this, I say, Mayor, I'd say, with all due respect,
No, go ahead.
we're the weak form of mayor in this, so that under the statute, most of the administrative power is set with Mr. Brown's office. Yeah, I don't know if that helps you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just asked another question to it. From the one we know, the storm front mayor. That's the one thing in Burlington City.
Oh, Louis,
I think that I say.
yeah,
I just want to, get the same, the answer I got from here. I did.
could be, Louis, I just, don't keep
And
up on
question is-
different forms of government.
How can we, Mahali citizens, can fully utilize this building, like for kids for after school program, for Friday night? How can we utilize this as a recreation for kids? Like
building?
come right here,
Which
Yes.
building, Louis, which building?
huh?
With this building?
Yeah, with this building, how can we utilize more for, kids come right here, could play cars or, use recreation activities. I would like to see more. I could help you play with cars. I'm an expert in, Magic Gathering, don't count
All right,
cards.
thank you, Louis. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
You want us first, bro?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Harlan Tice, PLCE, 189 Jefferson Avenue, Mount Holly. I just want to let you know that I want to be present to see if you're going to speed up anything. I know they're waiting for an emergency grant. It's getting to the point where, I'm not going to be having to wait another year. My house might not be there another year. That ground is collapsing. So, I know Mr. Brown, he keeps me in touch, but, it's been a while. I just wanna know that I'm present and I'm still concerned. But I thank you for what you're preparing to do,
Okay.
right?
All right, thank you, Ms. Tyson. Anyone else in the first row? Moving on to the second row.
Betty Jean Kessler, 418 Langstaff Avenue, Manhattan, New Jersey. The basketball stand that still sits across the street from my house is on township property. I've requested it to be removed. Also, I have the right to protect my home and property. If people come on my property, I will file trespassing charges. I'm also a senior citizen, and I also have disability rights. As far as Josh Brown goes, he should not have the final say on anything. And I am requesting an independent, outside consultant who has no political connection or any affiliation with this town to do an independent audit on the operations of the daily management of Mount Holly Township. We contact that administration and we get nothing but the royal runaround. We don't get phone calls returned, we don't get emails returned, we're given false, incorrect information. You talk to 5 different people and you get 5 different answers. So I am requesting that that basketball stand be removed, or I'm gonna have to take this further. Furthermore, the independent auditor needs to find out who is Mr. Josh Brown's boss, and if the council is responsible, then the independent auditor needs to make notation that it's a conflict of interest for Josh Brown and Lou Brown to be represented as council and the township manager of daily operations every day. There is too much stuff in this town that is not being addressed and not being taken care of, and the residents' complaints are falling on deaf ears. You all wanted to be on this council. You all sit here and say you've got other jobs. Well, here's one example. Mr. Banks, you have your own business. I'm sure you got a wife and kids. You're a township manager. You are the township mayor, which means that's a part-time job. You're also on all these committees, UA, MUA, UZM. How come it's all the males on this township committee that are sitting on all these councils, but yet when the women want to be on the council, they're denied? How much time, Mr. Banks, do you actually spend working for the people of Mount Holly and providing litigation for all the issues that we have brought up that need to be addressed? Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else in the second row?
I think I can probably project enough, but I'll go up here. Excuse me. My name is Nona Mannheimer Lore, 139 Hawthorne Drive and 23 Ridgely Street. I'm not going to complain about the snow removal, okay? And I can't bring up personnel issues. I did email Mr. Brown. I'm not sure if he got my email. Is that Mr. Brown?
Yes, I think it should.
You did get my email?
Yes, I
Okay, I do have pictures, if you'd like them, with captions, and if the township would like to see it. My main concern is the property that was plowed out by the municipal, how can I say this without bringing up personnel? Township plows, okay? It was over a half hour plowing this one area that has 5 houses. It's a cul-de-sac. And I mean, my cameras were going off, the dogs were barking. This is why I looked. That road is completely cleared as of Friday at 4:30. Whereas you can look at my street, which is adjacent to it, and it's plowed. I've driven on snow for 50 years. It doesn't bother me. Same thing goes for Ridgely Street. The cars were parked out of the, off of the street, and they didn't have the decency to even plow close enough to the curb so there would be parking. Would you like these pictures?
Sure, Jim.
The other thing is, my common issue is with 71, 73, and now the brick house with the garbage. It seems, it's nice when there's something going on in Mount Holly, it gets cleaned up. I have to go that way home so I don't have to use Clover Street, Clover Street. So I have to look at it. I mean, I can't put blinders on it, it's bad. Can anything be done about it?
What's the address again?
7173, it's next to the Bucket of Blood, the Mill Street Hotel.
And then the brick house. The other thing is, the access road off of 38. I had brought that up in September, and I was told that it was a county road. I was wondering if anything was ever spoken to the county, because they don't yield. They do not yield for you to cross where you're supposed to. If you'd like, I can call Eve Cullinan and see if she can do something about it, either, put up a larger yield sign or a stop sign. And that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else is in the second row? All right, moving on to the third row. Third row.
Good evening, Michael Rothmel, 33 Union Street. The issue I want to discuss tonight, I think, is the assault on democracy right here in Mount Holly. I think the mayor is running the township like a Chinese Politburo with a rubber stamp of Mr. Brown and Mr. Jones. And I think compounding the issue is blatant nepotism and disdain for our citizens displayed at the last meeting. My first point with regards to wrongful concentration of power is the planning board and UEZ. Section 149.5 of the Township Code requires Class 2, 3, and 4 and alternate members of the planning board to be appointed by the governing body, which means the Township Council. The mayor should have accepted Councilwoman Burke's suggestion to nominate each applicant individually. The second disturbing concentration of power also involves nepotism by Councilman Brown. At the last meeting, the council passed Resolution 2024-24, allowing the mayor and township manager sole discretion to set the agenda. This is a disturbing concentration of power because it shuts out the other council members we elected to council. Horace Lou Brown is the father of Administrator Josh Brown. Allowing the administrator that much power should have resulted in Mr. Brown recusing himself from the vote. This is supported by Care of Tenafly Inc. versus Tenafly Zoning Board of Adjustment, 307 NJ Super 362, where the court held that a public official should not participate in a municipal matter where he might be reasonably expected to favor or promote a relative's interest of a substantial character. Clearly, Mr. Brown's vote to allow his son and the mayor to set the agenda promotes his son's interest of a substantial character. That vote should be rescinded and void, and there should be a new vote tonight with Mr. Brown recusing himself. Third and final point, the council adopted Robert's Rules of Order. Part 1, sections 4 to 7, explains that after a motion is made and seconded and called to question by the mayor, there is debate. This is mandatory. Too many times, the mayor calls for a vote with no debate or discussion. This is another example of the mayor ignoring the rules governing this council to suppress debate and silence Ms. Burkus and Ms. Astor. I think the disdain could even be considered a purposeful affront to the women on the council who are just trying to do their job and represent the citizens of this town. At the last meeting, Ms. Burkus described our form of government as a weak mayor form of government. Mayor Brown took exception to this. I think it shows a lack of knowledge of the form of government. It was not an insult, and it should not have been taken as such. But I think the worst example of Mr. Brown's disdain, Mayor Banks' disdain for democracy was in his closing comments at the last council meeting, when he called the public comment portion of the meeting a waste of time. This is not surprising coming from a mayor whose goal is to concentrate power to himself, even if it violates the law. I think we all have to be aware of the council majority's disdain for our citizens and the law, as well as their willful ignorance of nepotism. I am hopeful we can remedy the ills of this council in November so that we can have a council that includes the concerns of the people, as opposed to one that looks at our citizens as a roadblock. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. No button. Anyone else in the third row?
Yes, my name is Stephen Wells, 18 Union Street, Mount Holly, New Jersey. Right before Halloween, along High Street, they put the new LED lights in, which look great for Mount Holly or High Street, because most of the houses are set off from the street. So I'm at 18 Union Street, I guess they couldn't figure out where to put a couple of the lights. They put one in front of my house, which is more than double the illumination that's required for a residential neighborhood, especially in a house that's only like 20 feet from the light. So this has caused me to have to put out blackout shades and towels to be able to create enough darkness in my bedroom so I can sleep at night. Which also creates another problem on Saturday and Sundays when I don't want to set my alarm. It's so dark in there, I can't tell when it's daylight out to want to get up in the morning without an alarm. So also, when it becomes summertime, if I want to enjoy my front porch and have a glass of wine or something with my wife on my front porch, I'd be like I'm on public display. It's literally like it's daylight on my porch. Now, I talked to Mr. Brown, and my neighbor has also talked to him, and they basically admitted that PSC&G made a mistake, which is fine. And they also said that they were going to correct it, which is good, but that hasn't happened. And it's going on 3 months now, and I know LED is supposed to be more efficient, but if you take 100 watt light bulb in your house and compare it to a 60 watt light bulb, you can spend money on the 100 watt, whether it's LED or not. The more powerful light is going to use more energy. So eventually you're not really saving money over the long run by having a light that's too powerful for a residential street to be lit. So I want to find out when is it possible that this can be changed.
Thank you.
Like when should I receive a call? Because I've been calling Mr. Brown.
PSC&G has been contacted.
Yeah, we'll follow up
I
with
can't
PSC&G.
tell you when they're gonna come back.
Okay.
They have been contacted.
All right, because,
Understood. We'll follow up with PSC&G. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Maureen Taylor Ford, 117 Grand Street. First, I'd like to go ahead and start out with the MLK Day. It was a good function. Thank you, Mr. Logue. It was really good. I had a good turnout. Next, I want to jump right into, I had something else to say tonight, but BJ and Mike have made significant comments tonight. And I think I need to also say this because as a civilian, military civilian, that I used to be a military, but as a civilian sitting in this audience, and I'm listening to the things that go on here the last year that I've been coming here, you guys can't stand each other. Why are you on the same council together? Okay, you obviously have a problem with each other. You cannot agree on any vote. The men, 1, 2, 3, take one vote, you all vote yes, the women are always nay. So as a citizen of this town, how am I supposed to understand what's going on in my town when my own council cannot even stand each other? They can't get along. You can eat the tension in this room. So I don't understand that. Again, the last couple of meetings were very, very heated, okay? Unremarkable, I should say, for anyone on both sides, despicable. But again, we go back to transparency. We go back to Mr. Mayor, you being inducted last year as mayor, talking about communication was the big thing in Mount Holly. Where is the communication? Where is the transparency? As a civilian of this town, I have 2 properties here. Where is the transparency? Again, everyone is just coming here complaining. That's all I see for the last year. I don't see anybody getting anything done. I asked for a list. Can we have a list that shows all these people coming here saying what's going on, this, that? Where's an active list to show me as a citizen, you know what? You may not be able to get my problem under control, but at least you got my neighbor's problem done, so I can see something going on. I can see the powers to be at work. I understand everyone has, the council members have full-time jobs. I truly understand that. I also understand that a lot of you are on several committees. Do we have a resolution to say how many committees a person can be on? Is there like a number, a limit? I mean, I don't understand this process. I really don't. And I'm struggling here, you know, to understand this process of this small town. When I first came to the meetings also, I asked again, do you guys take tours around town? Mr. Mayor, you're from Philadelphia or somewhere in Pennsylvania, from what my neighbor was telling me. How do you know what's going on in this town if we're only going out to knock on people's door in District 7 or District 4 to get votes? And you're not going down to Kate's Track, knocking on those doors. How do you know what's going on inclusively in your whole town? You represent the whole town. You just don't represent District 7, District 4, District 2. You guys represent the whole town. I don't feel like you represent me. I'm sitting in the audience getting upset every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pierre Ford, 117 Branch Street. I've been here for the past, how long we been here, Maureen? Yeah. 18 years. I'm a military man, so I go by how things are run. One of the biggest beefs that I'm gonna bring up is the fact that we have citizens that are not getting answers. It sounds like we're, and excuse my language, it sounds like we're bitching, but we're not. We pay our taxes here, and I'm reading some of this stuff. If I was a new citizen and I came up into this meeting and you guys start talking about these ordinances and everything else, there's no definition on what's happening. Nobody knows what's going on in here except you guys are doing a resolution. I've already complained about this many a times. We got new people. If you notice, there's a lot of people up in here now, okay? And they're caring about this town. So you might get upset because we come up here and we're saying something that we're upset about, but we want to improve this community. So what I suggest is that if you put some of this stuff in here, can you please put definitions on what it's about? Because I'm looking at this ordinance and I don't know what it's about. So that's the one thing, and I'll end it with this. We love our town. So please do not take it personal when we get frustrated about what's not going on. Okay? Because we want to know answers. We cannot continue to bring up the same things over and over again and nobody's not giving us an answer. And it looks like individuals are getting frustrated on your board, but yet you're not providing us with answers. And if we had the answers, then we can't complain about you not saying something about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in row 3? All right. Let's move on to the last row.
Good evening, my name is Caroline Hurley. I live in 115 Clover Street. I've lived all over this country. I've been to many different township meetings. What I'm hearing out here is pretty frustrating. Nobody getting answers. For instance, the gentleman brought up legislature to be passed or bills to be passed or whatever the heck you have written down in there. everywhere else I've ever lived explains that. Everybody up on the board were volunteers as well, but they got along for business sake. This is the first township meeting since I bought my house back in 16 that I've been to. I didn't feel I had to go, but I have an issue. I don't really know how to take care of the issue. That's why I came for help. But hearing this, I feel like I'm not gonna get it. It's very discouraging in a town that I love, I was born in, I was raised in, and my mother was, my grandfather was back in 1892. My family has a long history here. I love Mount Holly. I could have lived anywhere in the country, but I brought my kids here. People said, why are you going back to Mount Holly? Ew. Really? I love Mount Holly. So my problem is this, I'll get to the point. 427 Garden Street on the corner, the Pepto-Bismol house. The one that's falling down before our eyes. An LLC that has financial ties to Malaysia owns the property. Their representative who I'll say deals with that house lost your real estate license for fraud. The taxes are now paid up. The water bill's been delinquent since last spring. The house is literally falling down. It's bringing our real estate values down. It's unsafe for the neighborhood. There's been many break-ins. It's a peaceful area. It's an eyesore. It was gorgeous when I was a kid. I grew up on the corner of Garden and Riston. It was gorgeous. I was in it a million times. It was the original children's home. There's historical value to that house. Why isn't anything being done? And I'm just here to get an answer and maybe some help, please.
Thank you.
The municipal liens were recently bought on that building, and now they're in the foreclosure process.
All right, repeat that again, Josh?
I said the municipal liens were actually bought on the building, and they're in the foreclosure process at this time.
Really, I tried to search, Google it, but couldn't find anything. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the last row?
Yeah. My name is Evelyn Usta. I live at 348 Broad Street. I'm new to Mount Holly, and I'm listening to everyone speak about different issues, and I didn't feel like mine was too bad, but I would like mine on record. That's why I came in today. I am connected to a house that's at 346 Broad Street, and it is dilapidated. It's going down. There's squirrels in there. There's holes. There's overgrown shrubbery. Today I was looking up your laws, and I found Chapter 213, property vacant and abandoned. I found some laws that would govern for that is an abandoned property. And it met 10 out of here that I picked out. Infestation of squirrels, cats, overgrown, neglected vegetation. It cannot be legally reoccupied without rehabilitation. It's accumulation of junk, litter, debris, statements from neighbors that the house was abandoned. So I did some research on my own, and I found out the home is owned by the ex-Mount Holly fire chief. And I feel that he's being protected when I call about and complain about this house. And it bothers me because I'm a new homeowner and I love this area. And I put a lot of work, my husband and I put a lot of work, and I spent a lot of money to fix my house. And it is lowering the property value of my home. And I'm afraid that there's gonna be squatters in there, or it's gonna turn into some kind of abandoned house where there's gonna be a fire. They just had a water main break or a water pipe break. And if it wasn't for my neighbor knocking on my door to tell me and calling the police, that water probably would have been in my basement. So this is an issue I've been having. I purchased my home in May. I have talked to Lee from the township several times. I wrote him another letter today, and I want this documented that I am trying to do something about this. The owner comes out, whenever I complain, he knows, and he comes out and does something. So I know someone's tipping him off, because there's no way that he would know to come out and fix certain things. The door is unlocked, the police officers walked in there without a key. The windows are broken. It meets every reason in here, in your code enforcement, that it is an abandoned property. I don't know if they're paying taxes on it. I don't understand why the insurance company or the lien holder is not being contacted on this abandoned property, that it is a fire hazard. It is putting my family in danger. If there was ever a fire, we'd probably all die from it. And I'm concerned for my, health and welfare of my families, and I'm also concerned about my property value. I put a lot of work into this property, and I worked hard to maintain it. So I'm just asking for this to be put on record and something to be done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bring it to our attention. Anyone else in the last row?
Hi, my name is Lisa Bryant. I'm from 141 Hume Street. I've been coming for about a year with problems with our trucks, especially at a warehouse across from our house. I'd like to know what gives the warehouse located at 136 Hume Street the right to operate outside its legal lot boundary. Their lot boundary ends roughly 10 feet behind a utility pole in the middle of their loading bays. The Township Council's reply was to discuss the zoning concerns or problems when the Township re-examines its master plan. Safety is our concern right now. We have trucks trying to back up, park, all over the street. How can this topic wait? When is the master plan's re-examination expected to happen or begin? And how long will it take? And we're supposed to wait for a re-examination to handle trucks? So, any help? Or when are we re-examining the master plan?
That's your question?
Yes.
Yeah, that's currently in the process right now.
To begin. Correct. To begin, correct?
To begin.
How long does that process normally take-ish?
I'm not aware of that process right now, how long it might take, but we have started the process.
Are we allowed to be involved with the process?
Once it goes out, I think
About
it's
6
up,
months.
about 6 months ago, I think it went out for RFP, correct?
No, it's with the planner.
With the planner?
It's with that planner.
But are they already identified the areas, or how do we get on the list?
That's a plan for function, Mayor.
So
Yeah, they'll identify it and they'll go
That's
through an
goes to planning.
examination of the master plan. And then they'll bring the findings back to the council, and then, yes, the master plan should be updated shortly.
But how do the sites get identified to be included in the reevaluation?
The planner, works with the, planning board, will give the planning board a master plan update, report. And, they should, identify a subcommittee of the planning board to examine that.
Hume Street is part of the industrial zone and also part of residential. We weren't even anywhere on the master plan. I think the other side of the railroad tracks were referenced. Obviously, they wanted to, rehab that whole dump and all, but we weren't even discussed. So how do we make sure we're on a list to be looked at?
Once it goes to the planning board, like I said, you just attend the next planning board meeting, and then we should have a better idea for you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in the last row?
I got a question. I don't know if it's something you guys can answer.
Yeah, come to the mic.
Name and address.
Huh?
Yeah, name and address.
Oh, shit, who am I today?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I forgot he knows, damn it. Walt Christian, 29 Cherry Street. My neighbors have, sub pumps in their basements, okay? Mine runs out to the street, which is where they run, but theirs run down the sidewalk, so then they come to my driveway. Now this morning, a little kid walking down the street fell in my driveway. And I'm curious, would that be considered my fault? Do you know, I don't know if anybody would know, I just.
No.
Huh?
Off the top of my head, I could not give you an answer on that.
So you're saying that their discharge is on
It runs down the sidewalk, and since I have the only driveway there, it runs down my driveway. And when I get up, I always put sand and stuff there, but I can't sit out there all night long and do it. And I was sitting out there this morning drinking a cup of coffee, even though it was cold. And this little kid who I see walk by every day with his father going to school, the kid fell. Now Dad didn't see him. If Dad had seen him, I might have been in trouble, you know. But I'm curious, would that be my liability or the neighbors? You think?
May I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
I wonder if, actually, it might even make sense to go backwards and see if that's even okay, that it's draining into your driveway
I
first.
mean, it probably costs them a lot of money, and times are hard. I don't want to see them have to go through that, but I was just, you know what I mean?
Mr. Burgess, we actually, from the sewage authority's perspective, we want that discharge to go into the street.
I mean the street as opposed to his driveway or the sidewalk.
I'll get there in a second. So we want it to go into the street. The problem is that, you know, it can't lay in front of your house, and it kind of forces an obligation on you. And yeah, your neighbor's gotta help you on that, because really, it's your responsibility, right?
Even though, I mean, I snow blow my sidewalk, throw down salt and all that, it would still be my responsibility, because it's in front of my house.
Because the authority doesn't want that excess water to go into the treatment plant, because it's an added cost. So all towns want you to either discharge it onto your property or put it into the public street so it finds its way to the stormwater.
Yeah, 'cause that's where my mind goes in the street, but like I said, for them to have to pick up the sidewalk, it'd be a lot of money, and I don't, you know, I ain't trying to break nobody. All right, I was just curious.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else standing behind you, sir? Besides
No.
Mr. Mayor, Town Council members, you all know me. I've been coming here. My name is James J. Nelson. I live at 193 Jefferson Avenue, Mount Holly, the neighbor of Carolyn Tice. I've been there since 1984, and I haven't been coming to no council meetings until Mrs. Tice's problem. And all the meetings that I've attended, I've drawn one conclusion, that we have a communication problems with the township residents. So the only reason I'm bringing this up is to preclude this from happening anymore. If the council, whomever is in charge of addressing these problems, contact the individuals that make the complaint by phone or in writing, this will preclude the same complaints coming every town council meeting. And I think it'll benefit town council, it'll benefit the residents of Mount Holly, New Jersey, of their problems that they addressed have been addressed, and they have some kind of understanding where they stand with their complaint. You know, I'm just trying to be a good neighbor. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. I see that's the last individual for comments. We're gonna close the public portion. Thank you all for your comments. We're gonna move on to the consent agenda. All items listed with the asterisks are considered routine by council and will be enacted by one motion. Should a council member wish to discuss a consent agenda item separately, that item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence. We have resolutions 2024-27, resolution 2024-28, 2024-29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, the approval of the bill list, and the approval of the department head reports. Does anyone want to remove any resolution and vote on it separately?
Yes.
Commissioner.
2024-28, 2024-34, and letter J.
Bill list?
Yes. That's all. I'd like to also pull 2024-32, please. F.
32. 34. H. And C. B, right?
C's not. Just.
So we have B, F, H, and J. All right, so we're gonna remove resolutions B, 2024-28. F, resolutions 2024-32. H, resolutions number 2024-34. And J, the approval of the bill list. We'll move them from the one motion and vote on those separately. So we're gonna take resolutions A, which is 24-27, which is a resolution authorizing the 2024 tow list. C, resolution 2024-29, resolution authorizing award of the bid to J.H. Williams Enterprises for structural repair for 30 High Street. D, 2024-30, the shared service agreement between the Township of Delran and the Township of Mount Holly for furnishing of brine solution. E, 2024-31, resolution adopting procedures for administration and inspection of federal aid highway projects. G, resolutions number 2024-33, resolution consideration for an application for installation of a mural. And J, resolution is number 2024-35, resolution appointing an acting court administrator. K, and approval of department head head reports, all in one motion. So can I get a first for those that I just mentioned?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read by mayor.
We have a first, we have a second. Can we get a roll call?
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
Those resolutions have passed. Now we'll vote on these individually, starting with resolutions number 2024-28. This is a resolution approving the 2024 temporary operating budget. Do we have any questions? Do you have any questions on this?
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a first and a second. Roll call?
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, resolution number 2024-28 has passed. We have resolution number 2024-32. This is a resolution in support of application of Black Lilies LLC to open a Class 2 cannabis manufacturing facility at 10 East. Any questions?
No.
We have no questions, I'm seeing none.
Motion to approve resolution 2024-32.
We have a first? Second. We have a second. Roll call?
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
No.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Resolution number 2024-32 has passed. Resolution number 2024-34 is a resolution authorizing the shared service agreement with the Mount Holly Board of Fire Commissioners and Fire District number 1. Do we have any questions on this?
I do.
Start with Ms. Burkus.
Yeah, so my question is, in looking at the resolution, it doesn't appear as if there's any, sort of quantification of what it's gonna cost us versus what we're getting from that shared service. It feels a little open-ended. So my understanding is that we, in return for us being able to use their meeting room, we are then going to offer to share, the cost of, is it the cost of, or just the services of our grant writers?
The services of our grant writers are on a monthly retainer, so it's not really adding to their cost.
Additional cost.
Okay. Will it will it, impact the amount of time or work they'll be able to do for the township?
No, they routinely ask me every year about if they wanna put in for this grant, I just say no.
Okay, it's this that one specific grant that's mentioned? Okay, so it's not just an open-ended shared service with them, okay. And is there anything else was there anything else that we're exchanging?
Just, until they can get a fire inspector to do things that are neighborhood services, will do it.
Okay.
He's already in the building doing the resale inspection, so it's just an extra 10 minutes of stuff.
Okay, and they're recruiting for that position?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And to follow, so just so the public knows, this is, for us to be able to have our township council meetings at the firehouse. So there's no, the township isn't paying anything to use the building. It's an equal exchange with grant writer. There's no financial cost involved in using the space.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, how long will we be using that firehouse meeting space?
So we can get the building up and running?
To be determined.
I'm sorry?
Until we get the building up and running.
Okay, there's no ETA. I know I emailed you like a couple weeks ago. Okay, so no cost, equal exchange, no impact to our grant writing. So, okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
Motion
Need
to
a motion?
approve 2024-34.
Need a first, and we have a second. Roll call?
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Resolutions number 2024-34 has passed. And we have the approval of the bill list. Do we have any questions on that?
I don't.
No questions?
No, I don't have a question.
Motion to approve the bill list.
Can we get a second? All right, we have a first and a second. Roll call?
Ms. Astor?
Abstain.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that is passed. All right, we have matters reported by the township manager. Josh, you have any updates?
Nothing,
Thank you. Tom?
Nothing.
So nothing in this? Thank you. All right. Ms. Burkus?
Yeah, a few things. Louis, I just wanted to mention, when you were asking about the building and, things for our youth to do, it might be a good idea to keep an eye on when if it hasn't come out yet, Sherry, the schedule for the rec community, I don't think that's been scheduled yet. Yeah, once that comes out, that might be a great place to go and talk specifically about, programs for the youth in more detail. Just want you to know that. And I'll let you know when it comes out. I hear, everybody, taking copious notes of everybody's complaints. I understand that transparency and communication here continues to be an issue, and I will continue to work harder to make sure that we are responding. Might not always be an answer that you want to hear, that any of us, or we want to give, or that we like, but I do believe we can do a much better job of responding and also closing the loop, even if, again, it doesn't necessarily land where we want it to land. It's not always going to, but making sure that we get back to you with updates and with resolution in the end. On a light note, I wanted to remind everybody that this Saturday is Fire and Ice in town, so make sure that you come out and attend that. It's a great event. Hopefully it won't be too warm and we won't just have blobs of half melted ice instead of, yeah, some of yours they're just ovals, but we'll see, cross our fingers. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is just sort of a reiteration of what I mentioned last week as far as the form of government that we have in town, and the fact that, it is under the Faulkner Act, a weak mayor. We have to be very, very specific about who is appointing and nominating folks on all of our boards. I don't necessarily think that we are 100% compliant. I don't think we were at the reorg meeting. I think we need to dig a little deeper. I'm doing some research, and I've enlisted, talked to Tom a little bit. We need to do a little more research. The one thing I need to make sure that we all understand is that if we aren't following proper procedure and we're not following as far as who appointments and how we're voting on them, it leaves us liable, because any decisions that are made by those types of committees and boards that have not been assembled and voted on appropriately, it leaves us at risk for then the actions and the moves that they make from that point on they're at risk to be, overturned or invalid moving forward. So I just wanna make sure you have my commitment and that we have our commitment to make sure that we're following appropriate steps so that we're not leaving the township liable, and at risk. So let's dig in a little deeper and make sure that we're following appropriate policies there, because I'm not sure that we are. And that's it. I appreciate everybody coming out again. I say this every month, but I know that it's not easy to stand up and talk to us. And I hear you, and you have my commitment to both do the work to get back to you guys in a better and a more timely fashion, and also to work as best as I can with the other 4 members here on the council, and in a professional and respectful manner. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Burgess. Ms. Hester.
Okay, I'm just gonna go through some of the comments and questions. Mr. Wells, I can sympathize with you. We also had a replacement light from PSE&G right outside. It doesn't affect our bedrooms, so we're okay, but it is like 5 full moons and then some. So it really is intense, and I could see that if I had my bedroom in front of the house, I would not be able to sleep. So I hope that PSC&G can resolve that, because it's the day after they got put in, we were like, it's like daylight at night. It really is. It's great. Great for us.
I don't have any night lights around the house. I can 3 o'clock in the morning, I can just walk around the house.
It's very bright
and
and great for a dark corner where no one, I don't think any of the neighbors have been affected just because of where their bedrooms are placed, but I know exactly what you're experiencing.
I told my friends at work, it's just like they put my house in the middle of a prison yard.
Yeah, no, literally, when you look outside, it's like daylight. Like you drop your keys, you'll find them. So I do understand and can sympathize. I hope that gets rectified. And then for Mr. Ford, your comment about not knowing what the ordinance are. On the township website, if you click onto agendas, there will be agenda and then packet, and you can actually print that out. I mean, it would be great. I'd make a suggestion. I've been to other townships, council and committee meetings, and they do have a handful of packets printed out for residents. So, I would make that suggestion if you don't get time to print it before you come. But you can do that. And there's agenda, which is just the title, and then packet is all the explanation, and it's about 50 pages. So it is there.
And I understand that, and I appreciate that. The only problem with that is that you have a lot of senior citizens here that don't have the accessibility to be able to print something like that.
A few pre-printed packets would be great to have, I suggest.
That was the reason why I made the suggestion, because again, you have new residents that are coming in here that are moving into the town. They want to know more about the town, and they want to know what they can do to help make the town better. If you give them access, a little bit more access to information to them, then they'll be able to actually get other people to come in and give good feedback to you.
I move to provide 10 printed packets for the next council meeting for anyone who doesn't have a printer at home. Do I have a second?
That is way too much paper.
No? Okay.
5. I'll do 5.
Shoot, if that's the case, then I'll offer the paper. I'll buy some paper. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'll buy paper.
Okay, I move to have 5 printed packets at every meeting for those who can't print at home. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay. I mean, it really was. It is a lot of pages, and I print double-sided.
So we'll do 5, but then
It's just the ordinances and resolutions, and I mean.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna do, exactly what I print. I'll just print all the resolutions and ordinances for people, you can pass them around. Sorry,
And I keep telling myself to print an extra copy when I print mine, and maybe I'll do that. And then also, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry.
We got one. Miss Astor, Mr. Jones, roll
We got a
call.
first, we have a second.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Hold on, I can't see. Miss Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Perfect.
And then
Don't worry.
to respond to Ms. Caroline Hurley, and I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, it's 348 Broad Street. This is something that I have heard from a lot of people. There seems to be a problem with code enforcement. I've known people who got a citation for grass that was just a tiny bit too high, and moss on their roof. And yet we have dilapidated buildings falling apart that don't. So clearly we need to, you know, have code enforcement be applied equally. And so I hope we can move forward with that, because it is a big issue, and I encourage whatever we need to do to support our code enforcement department to get out there and give those citations. And I think that was it. And so I have a few, that was just the reply to everyone's comments, thank you. And I just, for my closing remarks, I wanted to thank the applicants for all the boards and committees. There were some amazing resumes with cover letters of like 4 and 5 pages. I know that we had 2 applicants for the MUA. One individual from Hainsport sent a 4-page resume, and the other applicant who was chosen checked a box on a piece of paper. And if I were hiring someone, a piece of paper with a box checked versus a 4-page resume truly shows the desire to take that position very seriously. So for anyone out there who applied to a board or committee and did not get chosen, do know that we read every word and every page and really are just grateful for the time that you took, because no one loves writing a resume, and especially for an unpaid position. So thank you for that. And I think I was writing lots of different notes. She already told you about the fire and ice, so that's good. And then in regards to the resolution that was passed at the last meeting, this is something that has really been just getting to me. And I know Mr. Rothmel brought it up, so I'm sorry to be redundant. Resolution 2424 is a resolution that gives sole discretion, in quotations, to the mayor and the township manager. And the mayor is elected as RD, the township manager is, you know, hired to basically do the day-to-day business by council. And this is not normal procedure for a council manager municipality. Things were not always done this way. I looked back several years worth of reorg meetings in January, and the resolution was first introduced in January 2021, which means we didn't always have it that way. And why was it introduced? I don't know. At the time, Councilman Jones was mayor, and Mr. Brown was still township manager. I personally believe that this resolution should be rescinded. I have 3 concerns in regards to this resolution. We're a council. The mayor alone doesn't have power over other council members in regards to what is on the agenda. Our township manager is hired to be the executive branch of our local government. He is not a legislator. Township manager is hired, as I said, to do the day-to-day operations, prepare the budget, hire and manage township department heads. Sorry, I wrote it down so I wouldn't blabber and like forget to say things coherently. I do think that his insight and his input is very important and needed, because he is the one out there working full-time day-to-day, interacting with our residents and our business owners. But our township manager should not hold more power over what goes on the agenda than us, the individuals who were elected by you to represent your interests. Any council member should be able to email the clerk and put an item on the agenda, and we can have a vote. And if other council members don't support that particular item, they can vote no. So thirdly, we passed a resolution giving mayor and township council manager sole discretion on what goes on the agenda, and I don't feel that we need it. Thirdly, Councilman Brown, and this is like no disrespect, is the father of our township administrator. And in going back and looking at this resolution to really do a deep dive and understand it, and to be able to talk to you about like why I don't think we should have it, it made me realize he should have recused himself from that vote, because the township manager is his son, and he should recuse himself from anything involving his son, just to protect the township from legal issues. It's nothing personal. And I respectfully ask Councilman Brown to please read each ordinance and resolution and make sure that he recuses himself appropriately and that our solicitor advises him accordingly. In the last meeting, there were 3 resolutions involving our township manager, Mr. Josh Brown. 2024-24, 14, and 15. 14 and 15 weren't that big of a deal. It's resolution 24 that concerns me the most because it gives more power to the township manager in regards to what issues go on the agenda. I have to ask permission to get something on the agenda, or in a meeting, shout out, I make a motion, and I'd rather just do it, you know, I email the clerk and say, I'd like this on the agenda. So, that's just, I would like to reconsider resolutions 24, 14, 15, but in particular 24, I don't think that that resolution should exist, and I don't think that Mr. Brown should have voted on the resolution because it was specifically created to give the township manager and mayor sole discretion on the agenda. And that's it, and hope to see everyone at fire.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. You know, just January 15th, that was Martin Luther King's birthday. Now, I thought I was back 50 years ago, but these people are saying it, you know? And it's a little clique in this little office around here, this little room in here. They have people come in, they have them ask questions, but I mean, then we got this guy over here who's smiling at me right now, and he's like a person who likes to bring up things and really make trouble with people. And everything is kind of like instigated around here. We have been in this place, in this office in here. Yes, we do have problems in here. No, we don't. Yes, we don't get along with these two.
Well.
I'm sorry.
That's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
That's right.
And then we have people who want to add on to it. I mean, we're going back 50 years. I'm glad I got people of color in here tonight. But you know, that doesn't mean too much either.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Oh, man.
That's so wrong.
That's basic.
We are our own individual people with our own minds and brains.
You grew up in Mount Holly, didn't you? I've been here 67 years. We never had any issues with color.
I didn't say you had issues with color, did I?
Well, you're saying you're glad there's people of color in here.
Listen, you have your time to talk. Just hold on. Mr. Brown, are you finished? I guess so. Mr. Jones.
I do not wish to comment tonight. But thank you everyone for coming out tonight.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Like I said, we try to do our best up here in terms of trying to have open communications with everybody. And sometimes, you know, some people might not, I mean, they may take it the wrong way. But like I said, we all care about this town. You know, I've been here for almost 20 years, and it's one of the towns I love growing up. I mean, I love being here. If I wouldn't be on this dais if I didn't love being here. This town is great. Here's the thing, because every town has problems. I'm pretty sure they do. Every town has its own problems. We have our unique set of problems too as well, but we do our best. Hold on, let me talk. We do our best to do what we need to do to get this job done. And I believe everybody in this audience, except for a few select individuals, you came to us with problems. You gave you an answer or tried to give you an answer to the best of our abilities. Now, it's not up to us for you to like the answer. Sometimes we have to give hard answers too as well to these questions. But we've answered everyone. The one issue where I think transparency is probably closing the loop on a lot of these issues. You know, because we do give an answer and then we kind of move on sometimes. But we can do a better job closing the loop. I agree with that. So, with that, like I said, we had I'd like to thank everybody that attended our 9th annual MLK Day of Service. That was 9 years. It's going to be 10 years next year. So I did see a few new faces in the audience that we haven't seen in a while. It was good to see them as well, because the whole point of that is to bring everybody together. And like I said, you might not always agree with everyone. And it's okay, in my opinion, it's okay to agree to disagree. But you will respect people's opinion, and you will respect people. And that's the thing. And I know Mr. Brown, Mr. Jones, Ms. Astor, and Ms. Burke we respect everybody. Sometimes they may not see that, because sometimes it is hard to listen to certain things. But at the end of the day, we're all adults, correct? We should be able to agree to disagree, but as long as we keep it respectful. And that's all I ask for. So I don't tolerate disrespect. I don't want to tolerate disrespect for me to the audience and the audience to us as well. That's one thing I do not tolerate. But like I said, can we make some improvements? Always. Nobody's perfect. And there's always room for improvement. And every day you strive to be better than you were the previous day. So that's how we operate, and that's how I operate. So for everyone that's in the audience, if you ever came to me with a question or you want to talk to me, I've never turned you away. I'm always open. And with that, like I said, we have Fire and Ice coming up this weekend. Look forward to seeing everybody there as well. Hopefully our weather holds up a little bit better. I think it's gonna be warmer, but I'm not sure what the weather's gonna be like. But every event, I think we had some event cards out that listed all the events that we have coming up in this town. We do a lot. You know, everybody that's on this diocese has take their time out their day to do whatever they need to do for this township. I might be on multiple committees, but that's the position of the mayor. If I showed you my schedule, I don't know if any of y'all would agree with it or not, but we are very busy. Along with not just with township, job, family. So we're all busy. But I'd still take my time out to make sure I do my job. So with that, like I said, I'm gonna end with that. Like I said, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next meeting in February, I think. February 12th. We'll see you on February 12th. Let me get a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a first. Do we get a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, guys. See you